Welcome to the Premier League preview brought to you by sportsbet.io. Do like, comment, share and subscribe to get the latest previews for the Premier League, for football across Europe, for the Champions League, the NFL and the NBA as well. We are talking about Matchday 13 in the Premier League, and there's only one place we could possibly start. It is the big one. It is Liverpool against Manchester City with a kick-off time of 4 p.m. on Sunday. It does kick off 30 minutes earlier than normal on Sunday. Please be aware that UK time. The prices at the time of recording, these are correct. 2.12 for Liverpool. Manchester City are 3.35, 3.65 for the tie. Of course, I'm joined by Neil Mellor, formerly of Liverpool. And I'm going to have to come to you first. Is there a better time to be playing Manchester City than right now, Mels?
What a super Sunday this will be. City are hurt at the moment. City are struggling at the moment. But they know how to turn up in big games. So as much as things aren't quite right at the moment, and they're not, because they're missing Rodri, a few key players are back this weekend, and it's important to mention that Ruben Diaz is one of them. Doku, another one. De Bruyne is getting fitter every game coming off the bench. So City aren't as depleted as they have been for a lot of these games where they're having this terrible run at the moment. Liverpool are flying. Liverpool are absolutely flying. There's a real feel-good factor around the football club. Comfortably, and I mean comfortably, dispatching the European champions. The score said 2-0, and if you watched it, you're thinking, God, that's close. Should have been 6-1, 7-1. Liverpool absolutely demolished the champions of Europe. What I would say, though, is how much has that taken out of them ahead of this game? There'll be a doubt on Konate. He got injured last minute of the game. Conor Bradley was brilliant. He'll be a doubt, although Trent's back trend. Cannot wait for this game. Is it a good time to play Man City? Well, Liverpool are in a better position than Man City at the moment.
Yeah, the thing is, as I'm joined by former England and Spurs goalkeeper Paul Robinson, the thing is with Man City is they're also a bit of a wounded beast, so it could be the worst time, because at some point they're going to click back into gear, surely. There is one key stat that tells you the difference between Manchester City and Liverpool right now, and it's simple as this. Liverpool have won their last 6 games in all competitions, including Real Madrid last night. Man City have not won any of their last 6 games. There is the complete contrast into these two teams going into this one. The win percentage for Liverpool is over 45%. That's got to be one of the highest going into a Liverpool-Man City. Is there any sign of life in Manchester City coming into this one, or are you sticking with their home side, Paul?
No, I've always said it was a blip, haven't I? I've said Manchester City will turn this around, they'll come good. I was at the Etihad twice this week. I saw the Tottenham game and I saw the game against Feyenoord. And I saw a susceptibility, a weakness in Manchester City side that I've not seen in a long time, if ever, under Pep Guardiola. First 10, 12, 15 minutes against Tottenham, there could have been 2 or 3 up. And it wouldn't have been a surprise if there were the chances that they had. Vicario made a couple of decent saves, the possession that they had. But then all of a sudden they conceded a goal. Spurs got in behind them, they had a couple of chances. And you could just see the confidence when they started creaking. All of a sudden it was like, we're not this invincible machine that we always have been. And I've never seen that from Manchester City before. And when teams get success against Manchester City, they attack them. They go at them and they try and get in behind the defence. They play quickly and they press high. And that's what Tottenham did. And when they got the first goal, they just smelt that there was something not quite right. And they just kept going and kept going. And on Tuesday against Feyenoord as well, the defensive lapses were there towards the end of the game this time. You could see the confidence. As soon as they conceded 1 goal, the confidence just drained out of that team, which is a worrying thing for City.
Also, you literally saw the frustration of that game etched and imprinted on the face and scratched onto the face of Pep Guardiola as well. He's kind of not... At the moment, it's kind of going, we know something's going wrong, but we don't quite know what at the moment. And if we knew exactly what it was, we'd have put a stop to this after game 2 or 3 of this bad run.
We always watch lyrical about Pep and say he's the best manager in the world, and the stuff he's achieved, and you look at his CV, and you look at what Man City regularly win, and the other teams he's been at, and his win percentages. This is the first time in his whole career as a manager he's been backed into a corner like this. So we all say about him being the best manager, he's revolutionised football, he's changed the way it's played. This is a test that he's never had. He's never been fighting relegation at the bottom of the Premier League. He's never been on a losing run. He doesn't know what this feels like. And this is a situation that he's going to have to work out. And they look like they're struggling to do it at the moment.
Yeah. Also just goes to show how difficult it is to keep winning game after game after game after game. Klopp did it at Liverpool when they were winning the Premier League. Pep's done it as well. It's not easy that you just turn up every single week. If you're off it, you will get beat. And Man City proving that right now. There is one key stat for Man City which shows the difference between Man City of old and Man City that we've got currently. Man City have conceded 17 goals in their last 6 games. Before that, they conceded 17 in 24 games. That is absolutely phenomenal. Liverpool, by the way, have failed to score in the first half of the last 4 games at home to Manchester City at Anfield. So generally when Liverpool score against Man City at Anfield, it's second half. So are we expecting a tight game here, Mels? What's your thinking in your score prediction?
Yeah, we are. And you mentioned about City's defensive record there. I think having Diaz back, and I think he will be starting, is a massive boost for City going into this game. Got a question for you, but I'll just ask you one very quick one about Mo Salah. Salah, we saw the headlines after his match-winning performance against Southampton last week, and he's got 12 goals this season for Liverpool in all competitions. Question to you both, just fire a number at me. How many of those 12 have been scored in the first half? Should have scored again against Real Madrid, Mr. Penn. How many of those 12 has he scored in the first half?
I would say none of them.
2.
Oh, in between, 1. Unlucky lads.
I know.
Against Chelsea, a penalty. That's the only one he's first half.
Actually, if you have a look at when Mo Salah scores, Mo Salah, by the way, has got 4 goals in his last 5 games at home to Manchester City for Liverpool, of course. When you do look at Mo Salah scoring goals, it tends to always be the final goal of the game. He tends to always score the final goal of the game. Neil Mellor, I'm going to put you in charge of Liverpool. Mo Salah, are you signing him up on a new contract tomorrow?
Mo Salah will leave Liverpool Football Club one day. It could be the end of the season. It could be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. He will leave the football club at some point. All great players do. For Liverpool fans, just enjoy watching one of the greats. If I was in charge, yes, I would be giving him a contract. He is Liverpool's best player and he's the best all-round attacker in the Premier League. He's professional. I can see him kicking on for another couple of years. He is unbelievable. Time after time, game after game, he wins. Right, here's your question. City haven't beaten Liverpool since 2003 at Anfield with fans. COVID season didn't count, of course. The strike partnership for City that day was the ex-Liverpool strikers Anelka and Fowler. Anelka got 2. 90th minute winner. Who were the goalkeepers that day? Liverpool and Man City. So it was 2-1 to City. Anelka got both. Barros got Liverpool's goal. Who were the goalkeepers? Liverpool, City, 2003.
David James.
Who for?
Yeah.
Don't know. It was either way. That was what was coming.
Very good.
Could have landed either way.
Very clever guess. I like that. I see what you did. Was it David James?
No.
I kind of want to say Joe Hart, but I don't know when Joe Hart was at Man City. So
don't say Joe Hart. Yeah, you've got Pepe. Who's the City goalkeeper, Robbo? One of the Premier League all-time greats.
Peter Schmeichel.
Peter Schmeichel. Peter Schmeichel was the goalie last time City went to Anfield and won with fans. The Liverpool goalkeeper was a Champions League winning goalkeeper.
Jersey Dudek.
Jersey Dudek. There we go. Yeah. So long time ago, lads. 21 years since he turned up at Anfield and won with fans.
Yeah. What's your score prediction for this one, Neil? Are you going for a win for the home side?
I am. Yeah, of course I am. Absolutely. Liverpool flying. Can't wait for the game. The atmosphere was brilliant again against Real Madrid. It will be again at Anfield on Sunday. To go 11 points clear, what an incentive that will be. I've got 2-1 Liverpool.
Both games ended last season 1-1, of course, and both teams to score generally does happen. In fact, the last time both teams scored failed to line was when Liverpool actually beat Man City back in 2022 by a single goal to nil. So a 2-1 win for Neil. Paul, your thoughts at Anfield, the big one, Liverpool, Man City. Score prediction, please.
I think there's some value there, Liverpool. What did you say they were? 2.1?
2.12, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some good value there. City, they're going to have to turn it around at some point, but the fragility that I've seen them, I just can't see it being this weekend, especially the way that Liverpool are playing. 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool. which was a scoreline. Last time Liverpool beat Man City 3-1 was all the way back in 2019, where Fabinho, Mo Salah and Mane scored. Bernardo Silva is due one. He scored for Man City that particular day. So you've both gone for a Liverpool victory in the big one. Liverpool against Man City, 4 p.m. on Sunday. Ahead of that one, kicking off at 1:30. Please be aware on Sunday, UK time, that all kickoffs are 30 minutes earlier than normal. We have Chelsea at home to Aston Villa, 1.73 for Chelsea. Aston Villa a 4.3, 4.2 for the tie after 5 consecutive victories at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea. They've just won 2 of the last 6 games in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. And Aston Villa have scored 9 goals at home and got 9 points. Away from home, they've scored 10 goals and got 10 points. Aston Villa have got more points on the road than they have at home. What's your thinking ahead of this one? I'm coming to you first, Paul. Chelsea against Aston Villa.
Tough one to call, isn't it? Chelsea had a decent result last week against Leicester. Got it over the line. Villa, they seem to be stuttering, but then they had a good result last night against Juve in the Champions League. Lost at Liverpool, lost at Spurs, drew at home to Palace. Villa having their little blip. It's not going to be easy going to Stamford Bridge, is it? But like you say, Chelsea this season are better away from home. We said at the start of the season, you just don't know what you're going to get from Chelsea, dear. But now you're starting to see what you're going to get. This, for the format, the way of recruiting players, the big squad, the way that Menzo Maresca is using one squad for the Premier League, one squad for the Europa Conference League. There's the shoots of something that's happening there. You can see it, you can understand the plan. And I think we're all a little bit shocked because of Chelsea's usual regime, if you like, hire and fire big names, big managers, and we win now. Whereas this plan is put in with foundations, and you can see it. The likes of Madueke, Palmer, Nicholas Jackson scoring goals. I think it'd be a big ask for Villa to go there this weekend. Villa are, though, a lot better on the road, but I don't think they're in a good place at the moment.
Yeah, Chelsea have inconsistent at home. I mentioned they've only won 2. They win every other game. So at the moment at Stamford Bridge, it's draw, win, draw, because they drew at home to Arsenal last time out. Aston Villa on the road have conceded 11 goals in their away games so far this season. To put that into context, Southampton on their travels have conceded 13. So Aston Villa have conceded nearly the same amount of goals on their travels as Southampton. Crystal Palace on the road have conceded less than Aston Villa this season. Neil, your thoughts on Chelsea against Aston Villa?
Yeah, fear for Villa because of they're in the Champions League this season, and can they compete as they have done well in the Champions League and a good point against Juventus, and then go again in big Premier League games around the corner? They did last year in Europe, but that was a completely different competition. Now they're with the big boys. It's a lot harder for them. I think this is the game which will tell us Chelsea are just going to be edging ahead of Villa. Villa did great last season, top 4. I think Chelsea are the real deal. I've said it all season, been really impressed by them. And I think this is where Chelsea get a victory. Not a convincing win. I think Villa will make it difficult for them. But I think Chelsea will just have enough. I was surprised at that poor home form for Chelsea. I think you have to say poor, winning 2 out of 6. That needs to improve. That needs to be a tougher place to go to, Stamford Bridge. I just don't see Villa getting anything, though. Cole Palmer, I can't believe this start. It's not even that bad a start, really. He's only scored 1 in his last 6 games. I look at Chelsea and I think, if anything's happening in the final third, Cole Palmer's involved. Goal, creating, assist, whatever it may be. So I'm surprised at that. I think Cole Palmer will get back amongst the goals and Chelsea will win this one. Got a little question for you, going back in time, for those that like classic questions. Villa have won the last 2 at Chelsea. The last 0-0 in the top level between these 2 at Stamford Bridge was 1977.
The goalkeepers.
The goalkeeper for Chelsea was Peter Bonetti, who was the striker for Villa. A Scottish international, very famous.
Andy Gray.
Too easy, Gav. Too easy.
See, ask me about 2006. I'm left floundering. Go back to 1977, and I'm there. It tells you everything. The year of my birth. Yeah. Brilliant. It's funny that actually, because you mentioned it that Aston Villa have actually got a good record against Chelsea. Chelsea have not scored in the last 3 games against Aston Villa. No goals in 3 for Chelsea against Villa. And Villa have won the last 2 games at Stamford Bridge, and yet we're not really tempted by the sounds of it by the Aston Villa 4.3. The thing with Cole Palmer as well, having watched him live, because I went to the Chelsea-Newcastle game fairly recently, when Cole Palmer plays, Chelsea play. It's quite clear. So if Cole Palmer isn't quite on it, Chelsea could be struggling a little bit. I'll go to you first, Paul, for your thoughts on this one. Score prediction, Chelsea, Aston Villa.
I do fancy Chelsea. You're not going to get much value in them at home. Villa, I would normally back Villa on the road, but like you say, they're so inconsistent at the moment. Struggled at Liverpool, at Spurs. I want to say a draw, but I can't back against Chelsea, against the poor Villa team. Chelsea to win 2-1.
Chelsea to win by 2 goals to 1. I actually just said that Chelsea failed to score in the last 3 against Aston Villa. They actually scored 1. They drew 2-2 in the Premier League. So it's 1 game in 4 against Villa, which they've scored. 2-1, you've gone for the home side. Last time they won was 2021 3-0, and that was when the likes of Lukaku, Kovacic and Lukaku scored. So the last time Chelsea beat Villa at home, the players who scored are no longer with them. Neil, your thoughts, please. Score prediction.
This would say Villa's problem this season. They are the 14th best defensive record in the Premier League. That needs to improve if they want to get where they want to this season. Yeah, I don't think they'll get a clean sheet. Chelsea will have far too much. I've got a 3-1 home win for Chelsea.
You're not splitting your opinions at the moment. You both went for Liverpool and you both went for Chelsea. Let's move on to the next game. Also a 1:30 kickoff on Sunday. Ruben Amorim's first home game in charge. Manchester United taking on Everton. 1.54 for Manchester United. Everton are 6.4, 4.2 for the tie. Man United have won just 3 of the last 11 Premier League games. Everton have lost just 1 of the last 8 games in the Premier League. In those 8 games, they have drawn 5 of them. So they're not winning that many, Everton, but they're not losing that many either. I'm coming to you first, Neil, for this lower Premier League battle. Your thoughts for Man United at home to Everton?
Yeah, surprised. This has been classed as a big game. 12th against 15th. Obviously, 2 teams that have struggled this season. I live on Merseyside and the Everton fans aren't happy. They're not happy with Dyche. They want him out, basically. They're absolutely fuming. 0-0 at home to Brentford last weekend. Brentford played with 10 men for pretty much half the game. So, yeah, Everton fans are a little bit unsettled talking about who's going to come in, and Dyche is still in place. They haven't been in the bottom 3. And for Everton, that's a surprise. You know, Paul's phrase is they've circled the drain long enough. But they've not really been around that drain so far this season. That's a positive, surely, for Everton. Last season at Goodison, they have a terrible record at Old Trafford. United with a new manager, trying to get his new ideas across. Who's going to fit into the system? What players are going to fit into that system? And that's something I think we'll see over the coming weeks. Inconsistency. Draw at Ipswich. Everyone was on and away there. This looks a home banker. But can Everton go and spoil it and get a draw? I don't think Everton will win. I don't think Everton can go there and get the win. Hate backing Man United, really do hate backing them. But here you go. I'm going to throw a question in early doors and see what you think of this. The last time Everton won at Old Trafford was a long time ago, 2013, so 11 years ago. 1-0. Oviedo got the goal. Which current Premier League striker started for Man United, and which current Premier League midfielder started for Everton? Neither are at the clubs, obviously, anymore. Which current Premier League striker started for Man United? Last time United got beat at home to Everton, 2013.
Danny Welbeck.
Welbeck, nailed it. Nailed that one.
You like these early starts, don't you? It's good for you, these early ones.
I can't sit here and lay claim for that because it got whispered in the studio from beyond the camera. So
you won't get the midfielder.
I could have claimed glory for that one, but I can't. I heard the whisper of Danny Welbeck in my ear. So I'm going to grant that one to producer Will. So that's 1-0 to producer Will on that one. See, I'm being honest. I could have claimed the glory, but I'm being honest. I know.
Right,
no idea about the midfielder.
11 years ago, midfielder.
Who's he play for now?
Would that be too easy if I tell you who he plays for now? He got relegated last season.
Oh, Ross Barkley.
Ross Barkley. Leeds went down the year before, Robbo, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, Ross Barkley, of course it is. With no help from producer Will on that one. I am claiming that one if that's absolutely fine. You mentioned the word banker with Man United. I don't think Man United are banker territory at the moment. Certainly not at home. Man United have only scored 7 goals in the Premier League this season. 6 of those 7 goals have been in the second half. So they've not been blowing any team away, possibly apart from Leicester City, where they won by 3 goals. That's also one of the rare times at home they've kept a clean sheet. Paul, are Everton good enough here at least to draw? Do you think Man United are too short at 1.54?
And that's why they're short, because they're a banker at home. He couldn't have a better first home game, could he, really, in the Premier League? Everton, you look at Everton the last 3 games, there has been 1 goal in Everton's last 3 games scored by anyone. I mean, 2 0-0s and a 1-0. They're a poor watch, Everton, they are. They'll go to Old Trafford and they'll try and spoil. Last week at Ipswich, we saw a new formation. We saw Amorim's going to do. He stuck to his formation. The back 3, the 4 with a 2 off the striker. Listen, it's going to take him time. You can see that. Even he said he's going to need time to get this right. And we're going to go through a little bit more down times, poor bad times before we get this completely right. Man United sat 12th, Everton 15th. You wouldn't have thought it. I just can't see Everton going there. I mean, I can see them going there and getting a 0-0 or a 1-1 if they're lucky. But Man United are too short for me. They win at home this weekend.
So clearly, when I come to the score prediction, I know which way you are venturing. Everton have drawn their last 2 games 0-0. They've not drawn 3 consecutive games in the top flight since 1982. And if you're looking at Rashford, there's 2 stats here that collide really, and you can combine them because Rashford have clearly scored in the first 90 seconds of Ruben Amorim's tenure at Man United. He's got 3 in 4 against Everton, and Man United have got 4 penalties in the last 4 games against Everton. Maybe that's why Rashford has been on the score sheet so many times. Let's go to score prediction. Neil, I'm coming to you first. Man United against Everton.
Yeah, well, just to say about Rashford, his last Premier League goal at Old Trafford was against Everton. So
here we are.
I'm on Rashford to score. I'm on Man United to win. It 2-0 home win.
Keeping a clean sheet, that is a rare beast for Man United at home. Certainly back-to-back games as well. Paul, are you agreeing? You've all gone for the same kind of result for Liverpool and also for Chelsea. You agreeing? I think you are with Man United. What's your score prediction?
I hate to disappoint you, but that's exactly what I've got written down, and I just can't see it any other way. Everton can't score. Man United, I think they'll score more than 1. I don't think they'll score 3, so I'm sitting with what I've got, 2-0 United.
Both gone for 2-0. Absolutely, in part 1 of the Premier League preview brought to you by sportsbet.io, I absolutely cannot separate you. By the way, I will tell you now that Man United's last 2 games at home to Everton, they've won by 2-0 in both, and Rashford has pretty much scored in both as well. So your predictions, if you look back, have been absolutely bang on recently. Well, whatever your bets are, please do gamble responsibly. That is it for part 1, when we cover the big games for Matchday 13. In part 2, we'll be looking at the rest of the Premier Leagues, and these guys will deny it, but we're also playing for this trophy with their score predictions as well. And Robbo says he doesn't want this, but I can tell you off camera, he's told me he secretly really wants this in his house come the end of the season. And we'll be looking at the trebles as well. That's coming up in part 2 of the Premier League preview brought to you by sportsbet.io.